Welcome everyone to this cast. I am BlanderStrudel. This game is brought to you by StarCastTV. Today we got an excellent game between Rush here, the blue Terran, in the bottom right, versus Hero, the white Zerg, in the top left. The map is Polypoid. And this is probably the new version of Polypoid where the gases have been changed. The position of the gases at the natural bases have been changed, so this is, in my opinion, a little bit more annoying for the Terrans now, because they're easier to harass with mutas, but we'll see. Well, both of these players, both Rush and Hero, are quite standard players. Hero has very strong mechanics. He's been, actually, he's been my favorite Zerg until he went into the military. He was really very strong, and as I say, very standard. Is when the thing about standard players, in my opinion, is that it's very hard to beat them because they basically don't make mistakes. Whereas if you're talking about a Zerg such as, I don't know, I can get the name, I cannot recall the name but it will come to my mind in a second. A more type of cheesy or aggressive Zerg, or any race, doesn't matter. You kind of have an edge if you can counter his style. But how do you counter a standard player? So in this game we got our players in cross positions, so some early aggression is unlikely. Already got a 12 hatch opener here for Hero. And Rush is going to go into this style where you get an early wall. What this allows you basically is, for one, the Zerg will not know easily what you're doing, because if he makes the supply depot here in time before the drone reaches his base, he will not know if he's going for an expansion. He could be going maybe even for a second barracks here, something which is quite unusual but possible. He could be going for a factory, for a 1-1-1 raid, you name it. In this case, Rush is banking up minerals, so he's just going to make an expansion. But also, without the need of making a bunker, it's going to be able to produce the least amount of marines to defend, and from there he can do whatever he wants. I can predict he's going to go for an early eBay for a quick +1. Okay, interesting that Rush decided to gas steal there. But Hero, I don't think he cares really, because he went for a third hatchery, and instead he started his gas at the second at the natural base, at the natural expansion. I mean, oh, this is actually the old version of Polypoid, because now the new version, I believe it has the gas here. So, anyways, it's not a big deal. Okay, here we got expansion going up for Rush. And indeed he's going for the fast engineering bay. Now this type of build, this type of strategy actually is very trendy now, and the only weakness is it's an early pull, say like 4 pull or 5 pull, because basically the Zerg can very easily break this. It would be different if the Terran made the barracks here, because he can hold at the ramp, but basically here this is only weak to very early pull. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's a very strong strategy. Alright, Hero is just droning up. He doesn't care about making more than 2 Zerglings. He still doesn't have an Overlord around, so he cannot confirm exactly what's going on. And his Zerglings are still at his base. So he's keeping just 1 here, and he's sending out 1 to scout to see what's going on. Basically, at this point, he doesn't know if Rush is coming out with a marine group or whatever. So I think he should be a bit more aware of what's going on. Okay, Rush doesn't care about making marines, as I was saying earlier. He's just focusing on upgrades, and he's probably going to go into 3 to 5 barracks. With this build, you can, considering we're in cross spawns, he could be going up to 5 barracks. Though 4 is a little bit more safe. because it gives you extra time to build turrets or whatever you need. But anyways, oh, okay, that's interesting. Hero is going for a Hydra then, and also for a Spire. So when the thing about this is that if Rush decides to scan, say he scans the Spire, he scans this base, and also he scans this, he will not scan. He's not going to be able to see the Hydrogen, so it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky when you got only 2 scans and the Zerg got 3 hatcheries in different locations. It's just impossible to scan everything. So you're kind of you have to trade. I mean, sometimes you make turrets as Terran and there's no mutas coming. Sometimes you make bunkers. Because you think the Zerg is going to go for lurkers, but the lurkers never come because instead he went for something else. That's why you should have an SCV out, which is exactly what Rush is doing here. Okay, he scanned in the middle, and I don't think he got the Spire. At this point, I don't think it doesn't matter. Yeah, you see what I mean? He scouted the Hydrogen, but he doesn't know about the Spire. So basically, at this point, Rush Hero can do whatever he wants. I mean, he went for Hydras, but he could have popped mutas, and he's still in time to make some mutas. But we'll see. Now Rush is on the map. Let's see. The problem is, yeah, he makes a forward bunker. Okay, that's smart. He's not making any turrets, so he probably knows it's just going to be lurkers. I mean, there could be a late Muta switch, but that's quite weak versus 5 barracks. So now Rush is transitioning probably into 2 starports with vessels. Alright, the Zerglings trying to delay these Marines from reaching this base. A sunken colony going up, but the lurkers are going to be right in time to defend it. These Marines perhaps might kill a drone or 2. Oh, he's actually engaging. Well, anyway, the rest of the lurkers should be coming soon, but they are not. Okay, these Marines are really dangerous at this point. I really didn't expect Rush to deal so much damage, and the hatchery might go down. Okay, Hero just in time with those lurkers. Just in time. I really thought, well, Rush could have a focus fire on the hatchery. I mean, and oh my, I did not see this. Okay, now Hero is in big trouble. I mean, he's going to survive, but he's lost so much mining time. Rush came in with a timing attack, and he really deals way more damage than I had expected. Look at the SCV count. It's 44 at the moment, and Hero's on only 24. What's the tech? Okay, he's going up to Hive. He hasn't started plus 1 carapace yet. Hero on this side, instead of going for 2-port vessel, he's going for tank vessel. His vessels are going to be slightly delayed now, so maybe now is the time where Hero can take map control, because without vessels you never know where hold lurkers can be. Lurkers with hold position, they will dominate the map very easily, because the Terran has a very limited amount of scans at this point. So yeah, I don't expect Rush to go very much further on the map with these Marines, because they're super vulnerable to hold lurkers, or just even lurkers. They don't even need hold position at this point, because the Marine groups are very small. Okay, here the first tank comes out, though the vessel still not even making. Okay, Hero producing some more units. But the thing here is that he's going for the filer play. But at this point the Terran has taken so much map control, and now the Zerg is going to be contained. I mean, he will have his defilers in time, but considering he's just on 3 bases, it's going to be very hard for him to break out. Rush has been able to put some very significant pressure here. And the thing is, you really need a Terran to put pressure on the Zerg before the Defilers are out, because once the Defilers are out, I mean, they can easily push out with Dark Swarm. Okay, Hero now zoning out the Terran with Lurkers. That's very good job. Oh, but I don't think that's going to work out very well for Hero. I mean, these Lurkers have no support of any kind. There's barely any Zerglings. And yeah, tanks wreck Lurkers very easily if they don't have any kind of support. Okay, Rush apparently is going to close in a little bit. 1-1 upgrades for Terran. No upgrades at all for Zerg. And Hero, man, if he doesn't get a Dark Swarm immediately, he's going to die. And in fact, even if he did, there's no Lurkers around. And that's GG.